Why you and your business must capitalize on the current knowledge explosion. Welcome to Edupreneur.International, where you will discover how to profitably educate your market and where you will learn how to increase your sales, use better systems and tools, and communicate your message to the online world so you have more freedom, more money, and more customers. My name is Michelle Keller, and I want to welcome you here to our today's topic. Why you need to capitalize on the current knowledge explosion. So let me explain. Consumers today, they know so much more and move faster than ever before. They have all access to all the information they can get because of the internet and all the information. There's been more information being produced any second than ever before. More data, more information needs to be constantly processed by ourselves and especially companies and their customers. Now, this trend is not going to stop anytime soon. Quite the opposite. Why is that so? Because we have to understand those businesses that know how to process and structure this data, and especially this data explosion, the best and the most efficiently, they will be able to attract and retain large numbers of information and customers. Because customers need information. Just think about that, what you're doing here right now. You are gathering more information, and hopefully I will give you the best information so you can take this and incorporate it into your world and into your business. We have smart technologies and smart products, and they need smart users. We need to learn and educate ourselves and grow with them as well. In the past, experts and companies knew more about their services and products than their end users. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, those who had the products and the services knew basically more than the customers. But today, it's really different. Today, recent innovations in mobile and sensor technology make it possible to create a digital representation of almost any physical component and its parameters at any time and any place. Physical worlds and digital representations are becoming tightly linked so that changes in one world have an impact on the other. Let's think about, for example, RFID, radio frequency identification. They are being used on products in the supermarkets. They are being put in clothes. So if somebody takes it out of the store and now pays for it, an alarm is ringing. But much more, it's for the shop owner that they know how much inventory they have, where it is lying, when they will need to order more, etc., etc. There is, excuse me, in his book from Gershman, The Future of Business and Services in the Age of Ubiquitous Computing in the year of 2000, he was saying technology is enabling service providers to make the location of their customers the location of their business. So the business location is changing before your eyes. Smart products and they are smart because they filter and interpret information to enable users to act more effectively. Actually, that's what our brain has been doing for millions of years. This is now been done by those smart products. And smart products developed by knowledge-based companies can be identified by a few characteristics. They are interactive. They get smarter the more you use them, and they can be customized. Now, as a result, consumers are increasingly becoming learners. I repeat that again. Consumers are becoming learners. They're using smart products that engage them and help them learn. Companies, therefore, need to move to making their offerings smarter, because everyone benefits, those who produce it and those who use it. Because if we educate our consumers, they know more, and because they know more, they are more relaxed, and they get exactly what they need. After all, when consumers use these products, they engage in a learning process. Now, that's why I say that we move into an era of a new way of thinking. Why? We need to see our customers as learners. And this requires a major shift in thinking. Companies will shift to seeing their customers as learners and themselves as teachers, which is really different. They're not only producers anymore, or service providers, they become teachers, because the more you educate your customers, the easier it is for them. But therefore, you, as a producer, as a service provider, you need to grow yourself and become a teacher. And they will profitably promote the learning experience. The producers and their customers will benefit from that experience. Now, in the upcoming years, how people use knowledge-based products, both as consumers and at work, will be critically to business and success. The value of a business will be determined similarly. Businesses that are based on providing information to customers will do better than those that do not. And businesses that understand how to turn information into knowledge will be the most successful. So the more you grow, the more you know, the more you must educate yourself as well as your customers. And we see that already in many companies already. Those who really connect not only the products and the services, but the knowledge transfer from one to the other to their customers, they are attracting more customers. Technology and technological change is driving the next wave of the economic growth. And we have seen that especially now in the last 18, 19 months since the pandemic started. A huge shift is in the marketplace. To benefit from this growth, we must not only adopt new technologies, but also new ways of thinking. Of critical importance will be our ability to understand the shift in business from data to information to knowledge. I repeat that again, from data to information to knowledge. And let me give you an example. Amazon. In my other podcast, I have shared the 11 key lessons from the Amazon founder, Jeff Bezos. And I have closely looked how Amazon is conducting his business. Now, let's look at Amazon's evaluation of best-selling products. Amazon collects and analyzes and uses data from its customers and the best features of the product, and then they develop their own product. You can say that this is morally challenging, and I would agree with you, but they are learning from the best products, how they're being produced and offered, and how the customers are reacting to that. And then they're connecting this. And what they are doing then is they undercut this bestseller by offering their own product from 20 to 45% cheaper. Now, This is a challenge, especially for those who are offering their products on Amazon and becoming bestsellers, and they must know that eventually they will be undercut by their provider in a couple of months. So there is a growing awareness that information is no longer just a byproduct of the core business, and that the value created by the content exceeds the value of the original business itself. So here we're talking about value, how much more value we can create. And that's why we are in a shift, and change is happening again. Data is the basic building block of the information economy and a knowledge-based enterprise. And that's what we're talking about here. Knowledge-based enterprises, edupreneurs, educators who are becoming entrepreneurs, coaches, trainers, experts. That's what we're talking about here. And in the beginning years, in the 50s, we focused on data such as numbers, words, sounds, and images. And what we did with this data is how we processed, stored, or otherwise manipulated it, determined its value. And then later on, we shifted information. But before we shift, I want to share, what is information? Information is data arranged in meaningful patterns. I repeat that again. Information is data arranged in meaningful patterns. For example, numbers are data. Consequently, a table of numerical values is information. In the 50s, in 1950s, room-sized computers made it possible to collect, sort, and store and process vast amounts of data. Today, it's faster, less expensive, and compressed to the size of millimeters. What we are using on our phones, on our smartphones, and that's why they are called smart also, there is so much more data in there than in the room of a supercomputer in the 1950s. As a business, we are really on the transition from information to knowledge, where knowledge means the application and productive use of information. So we need to apply what we know and package it into bite-sized pieces so that the consumer can swallow it. Data is a commodity by now, but far less powerful or valuable than the information derived from it. And that's why we're in a shift. We're moving. Before it was just data. Now, knowledge will replace information, just as information once replaced data. That's why educators are coming into place. They are so important. Businesses become educators. The evolution of knowledge-based enterprises reflects an even larger shift in our society. The learning market is being dramatically redefined to include not only regular students, but also lifelong learners. And we have seen that in the past couple of months, how businesses had to change from one day to the other, using different tools, understand how online we have to communicate online differently than in the so-called real world, and how we can connect to our customers, with our customers, and to our teammates and co-workers. A whole new meaning of education and learning is emerging. And the jobs of tomorrow that students are preparing for today, they have not yet been invented. Things taught in our schools and colleges today will already be obsolete by the time students graduate. And that's why the continuing online education or continuing education is so important. You have to increase your learning power to sustain your earning power. I repeat it again. You have to increase your learning power to sustain your earning power. And the rapid pace of technology and technological change means that learning must be constant and that education must be updated throughout working life. How often are you updating your mobile? How often are you updating your software on your computer? But please answer this. How often are you updating your software in your brain, your own software? And if you want to know more about that, please connect with me. Connect in our YouTube channel, Edupreneur.International, and connect in our Facebook group, our VIP Facebook group, Edupreneurs Mastermind, and connect with me on LinkedIn, Michelle Keller, so that you get more information and be a part of the community, the growing community of like-minded people, so that you can learn and communicate and share your thoughts with others as well, to move from an expert to an edupreneur. There was a famous book in the 1970s which really shocked the world in a way, and it was Alvin Toffler. Alvin Toffler is a futurist, and he wrote this book, Future Shock, in the 1970s. And he stated that the illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. I want to ask you, do you remember the times when you have been sitting in school, high school and uni, and you were learning? And how much of it are you using today? How often did you have to relearn? And how often did you have to unlearn things? This is a constant process, and it is in our body. We are constantly dying. Cells are dying, and cells are reborn and being born each and every second. For companies to remain competitive and workers to remain employable, they must continually educate themselves. An amazing person, architect, author, inventor, and futurist, Bucky Fuller, as he's being called, he described in his book Critical Path in 1981 the knowledge doubling curve. He noted that the human knowledge doubled about every 100 years until 1900, and then doubled about every 25 years until the end of the Second World War. And then a few years later, a report published by IBM predicted that the knowledge would be doubled every 12 hours by 2020. And I think we are exceeding that immensely, especially now since last year, 2020. So as knowledge is increasing, the usable lifespan of knowledge is decreasing. So we gather more and more knowledge, but the capacity of us of using it is decreasing. Consequently, in a continuous process of unlearning and learning, we must constantly replace outdated knowledge with new knowledge. However, knowledge alone is not enough. Equally important is the ability to make an informed judgment based on the knowledge you have here right now. And that's what we call wisdom. It is knowledge and wisdom put into action that gives us insight. So you've got knowledge and you got wisdom, and this you put into action. This is then insight, and then we can make an informed action and reaction to the things that are coming and the challenges we face. Now, I believe that the consumers, our customers, are the newest and the largest learning segment in the 21st century and in that marketplace. As you and I, as information technology officers and providers, technologies become friendlier, smarter, and integrated into more and more products and services. And therefore, learning becomes a necessary byproduct and so-called a buy service. Never before have customers seen themselves as learners and companies as teachers. More than government structures can, businesses are pioneering the educational changes which are needed for the emerging knowledge economy. And this knowledge economy is really emerging. And you see it left and right, how new software is being produced so that you and I can connect better. We think about Zoom, who once had 100 million customers on one day. It's now in 1 hour and more. What happened in the last couple of months boosted their company. Why? Because we need to access information and we need to share information with others. Public and private schools systems are lagging behind the changes in learning that are already taking place outside the rigid established school and education system. And that's why my mission is to help 100,000 edupreneurs to live a life of choice and freedom and to educate the marketplace profitably. Why? Because you are ready for it. You need it and your customers need it. And that's why we need to educate other people. In the upcoming decades, the private sector will replace the public sector as the dominant educational institution. It will be faster, it will be cheaper, it will be driven by consumer data and therefore more targeted and helpful. If you want to know more about that, please stay informed with me, with us, like, subscribe, and get notified. And I would be very happy if you ask question, share your thoughts on our show here today and other thoughts and what you're interested in the future, so we can start a conversation and I can make more shows of what you need. I wish you all the best. Keep on learning, and I'm looking forward to talking to you soon again.